Hello everyone. So for those of you who have been following part of my journey here, you know that I've lost close to 160 pounds via intermittent fasting, extended fasting, and following a ketogenic diet. Well, I get messages sent to me on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, and one of the questions that I keep getting over and over again is, how do I start intermittent fasting? So what I have to say is that first, intermittent fasting has been an invaluable tool for me while I've been on this, we'll call it a diet. Really, it's a lifestyle change, and after a couple of years of living this way, for the 90% of the time, I could definitely say it's a lifestyle. I do fall off the wagon sometimes and eat too many carbs, but the good news is, because I've been doing this way of life or eating so long, it's easy for me to get back on track, and I know what I need to do. Especially now that I've added extended fasting to my arsenal, it's easy for me to wipe out any potential problems that I've run into along the way. If I go a couple days and I eat too much, it's easy for me to just say, you know what, I'll just skip eating one day and then get back on track the next day. And that's what extended fasting has done for me. It's taught me that while I feel hungry, I don't really need to eat to function on a daily basis, and I don't need to worry about the negative effects of fasting, because I know that it's been good for me and helped me realize health benefits as well as weight loss, and helped me improve my mind and body control along the way as well, because it's given me it's made me feel sort of powerful in my own life when it comes to my diet. That's one of the things that fasting has done for me. But I didn't jump into extended fasting right away. I'm sure there's people out there that might have before. And I'm sure it's possible, and I'm sure that there's some people that do well with it. I had to kind of coax myself into it and do intermittent fasting for a long time, on and off for a long time anyway, before I was willing to try an extended fast. I didn't even do intermittent fasting right away either. My first foray into this way of life, which I kind of see at this point as going hand in hand, was ketosis. I started eating low carbs, and then eventually worked my way to almost a zero carb diet for long periods of time, and finding that that didn't negatively impact my health, but actually helped me think clearer and lose weight at the same time, as well as have more energy and rebound from sicknesses quicker. That really just overall, it's improved my health, my outlook, my energy, my mental focus. Once I saw that happening, I was able to start extending the periods in between when I was eating. Eventually, this led to sort of a natural intermittent fasting. Now, I had read about intermittent fasting beforehand, so it wasn't something new to me, but what was new to me was my ability to do so. Before, I was snacking in between meals, I was eating late at night, and I'm not going to say that I never do that anymore, but it's very easy for me to go 16, 18, 20 hours without eating if I want to, or if I find myself in a position where it's inconvenient to do so. There's been periods of weeks on end where I eat once a day, and eating one meal a day would basically be like a 24-hour fast several days a week, because you fast for 24 hours and eat, fast for 24 hours and eat. Once I was able to fast for 24 hours and eat, I was able to push that out to a 3-day fast. And then once I knew that I could handle a 3-day fast, and I felt like I had already gotten over the worst part of a fast, then I was able to tackle my 30-day fast, which every day that went by felt like a victory for me, and proved to me that I did have the dedication, the willpower when I needed to tackle that kind of a feat. And it kind of took away the control that the food had over me. Now, after that extended fast, I did eat quite a bit for like a week, but my body was repairing itself. I was regenerating red blood cells that had been used for energy. I was rebuilding proteins that had been used for energy. So I still, after that week or 10 days of recuperating from that extended fast, I was able to go right back into ketosis, and I've been able to maintain doing a lazy keto diet since then. But as I said, I got into ketosis, then I intermittent fasted, and then I was able to do an extended fast. So this was kind of a 3-step process for me. I think that's the best way to do it. Once you've been in and out of ketosis, and once you've learned that you can fast, you can even fast for a day or two to get into ketosis. But initially, I think in order to get your hunger under control, in order to extend the length of time in between meals without eating, I think the best choice is to go into ketosis. When you go into ketosis, your insulin levels are fairly low, so it's almost like a fasting mimicking diet being in ketosis. So your body is going to start utilizing fat stores that you have because that insulin isn't in the way. Once your body learns how to tap into those fat stores for the energy it needs, then it can do so for longer periods of time in between eating. What I would say to do is stop eating at 6 p.m. at night, 8 p.m. at night if you're a real night owl, maybe 8 p.m. at night, and then push your breakfast off to a brunch the next day. After a couple days of that, you should be able to push breakfast off completely and just skip it and go to lunch. So if you stopped eating at 6 p.m. and you didn't wake up till 8 or 9 a.m. maybe, do this on a weekend, and then you were able to find something else to do for a few hours in the morning before you had lunch, your 6 p.m. to 12 p.m. the next day, you're looking at 18 hours right there. That's a great start to an intermittent fasting plan. If you did an 18-6 diet for a while, you would learn how to control those hunger cravings. You would learn that you could get past them. You would learn that you could skip a meal. And even though you felt hungry at the time when you were going to have that meal, after a while the hunger seems to dissipate, especially if you keep yourself busy. If you're having a good time, if you're having fun, it's easy to skip those meals. And once you've been able to go 16 hours without eating for several days in a row, then you'll realize that you maybe could go 18 hours or 20 hours or 24 hours. And after you've mastered intermittent fasting, which I did intermittent fasting for 1.5 years before I ever took a foray into extended fasting, so I don't think that you have to rush things. But once you've already made that step from ketosis into intermittent fasting, it's going to be that much easier to get into extended fasting later if you want to. So if you have any tips for people getting into intermittent fasting, please put them down below. We know there's numerous benefits to doing so, including autophagy and low insulin levels for a long time, just overall health benefits where your body has a chance to rest your digestive system and rebuild damaged tissues, keeping your food spread out over a day or a day and a half has even more of those autophagic benefits. So the longer you can fast, the better off you're going to be for long-term health and preventative benefits. But it all starts with ketosis in my mind, eating a ketogenic diet, knocking those carbs out of the way, getting your hunger levels and hormone levels under control so that you can stretch that period between dinner and the time that you eat the next day as far as you possibly can. And if you do some research on YouTube, you'll see that there's a lot of people that make eating 1 meal a day their standard lifestyle. I think that eventually your body gets used to that and your weight loss can kind of drop off if you're not switching it up. But it saves a lot of time, it's convenient. There's even people out there that basically get to eat whatever they want for that 1 meal a day. I will eat as much as I want for that 1 meal a day, but I still keep it low carb. And if you do that, I think it's even easier to follow up with an intermittent fasting period going into the next day. So leave comments below about how long you've been able to intermittent fast, how often you do it so that other people can get some motivation. Give us tips if you have any tips on how to get into it. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll talk to you later.